Hello again guys, so for today's video, we're going to try to use a controller in Sky. So you can see in the settings there's a control which is the touch settings and controller settings. So we're gonna try to use a controller. So first let's go to Bluetooth. Why Bluetooth? Because I'm gonna be using a DualShock 4 from PS4, this controller. So I'm gonna open it. It starts blinking. So here, and there it is. The blue light indicates that your device is connected to the controller. So let's try to forget the device. But before that, you can see here DualShock 4 connected. So let's try to forget the device. So if you're asking if what if it is your first time using this controller, how do you connect it to your phone? So first, you can see the PlayStation logo button here in the middle, and there's a share button here. You can see. Try to press and hold them both. Then you will see a light blinking fast. Then in your phone, pair a new device, then the wireless controller will show up. Then it's gonna start pairing. Now select pair. So now it's connected. So the blue light indicates connected. You can see it here, DualShock 4 connected. So let's go back to Sky. Now I'm gonna be teaching you what is the use of controller. So let's go to this button first. The left analog stick is the movement. So you can see I can move, walk, and run. Now the right analog stick is the camera view. So you can steer your camera using the right analog stick. So next is the X button. X is the jump button or fly. So next is the circle button. The circle button is the honk. I can deep honk by pressing and holding it. So now next is the triangle button. Triangle button is the emote stance and spells. So you can select spells using this right analog stick like this. So I will try to use it. The the candle. So this it. So you can select the other like stance and spells by pressing the R1 here, R1. So this is the stance. You can select or your call. You can select your call and your stance just by pressing it. Or you can go to spell by pressing the R1 again. Then you can select your spells. Then to go back to stance or emotes, press the L1. So L1 and R1 to select which is you prefer to choose the emote, stance, or the spells. So by pressing the circle button is also a back button. So you can back like this. So if you press triangle, then press the circle button again to go back. So it's a back button too. So the square button is the select button also. Like this, let's go here. So you can see there's a circle. So the wing dresser is encircled. You can see the white encircled in the wing icon there. So that means you can select it. So let's try to press the square button. So that's it. You can select by using the square button. So let's go back. So next is, so the arrow keys is nothing. So it doesn't do anything. As well as the R2 button doesn't do anything. This button R2. So the L2 is, it's like when you're holding your SkyKid like this. So that is the L2. So next is the options. So the options button is the settings. You can select your settings here. So let's try to go back home. You can use other Bluetooth controller too. Any brands like Xbox or local controllers. Before I was using a controller called a controller named Bipega. So you can use any controller as long as it is connected to your device. So let's try the square button again. So you can light candle fast just by pressing the square button. So let's try to switch back to, let's try the chibi mask. So with the help of the L2 button, you can easily do chibi fall or chibi glitch like this. L2. Just like that. So now we're going to use this wired controller from Xbox. So if your controller is not a Bluetooth, you can also use wired controller like this. So as you can see, this controller is a USB controller. So it won't fit in my phone because my phone is type C. So what I need is an adapter like this, a type C, then USB. So female USB to type C. And let's try to connect it. So now that it's connected, let's try to use it. So the arrow key doesn't do anything. So the left analog is the walk and run. So next is the right analog is the camera view. So the start button is the settings. So B is back, just like the circle button in DualShock. So A is like X, you can jump and fly. So X is the select, like this. You can see it's encircled, so you can select it. If it's not encircled, you cannot select it. You can see. So make sure you can see that it is encircled. So the Y is like triangle. The emote, stands, and spells. So these are L1, like in DualShock 4, L1, I forgot to tell. So L1 and this LB in Xbox. This is where you can view your candles. So next is, let's try to use the RB and LB in Xbox. So it's like L1 and R1. So next is switching your flight mode. So if you're flying, you can switch by pressing the RB or R1 in DualShock 4, like this. You can see the flight mode is changing. So this is the advantage of using a controller. You can fly easily. So what is the disadvantage? So the disadvantage of using a controller is that you cannot, like this, select so fast like using a touch screen. And you cannot type your chat. So you see there's no chat unless you press it. Oh. Unless you press it. And the screenshot also. So you see there's no chat or screenshot using a controller. So this is only good for flying, like doing a candle run solo or with your friends. So that's it for using a controller. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and suggest any recommended videos you want me to do next. Thank you.